Good morning, Unity of Walnut Creek. So happy to see you all at home, here in the sanctuary. It's really beautiful. And we're getting ready to sing a song, and we invite you to hum along.
Okay, one more time.
Clap your hands. Here we go. The power of God is within me. I know, I know, I know. The power of God is within me. I know, I know, I know. The power of God is within me. I know, I know, I know. The power of God is within me. Yes, I know. Yes, I know. Love of God is within me. I know, I know, I know. Love of God is within me. I know, I know, I know. I like those claps. Love of God is within me. I know, I know, I know. Love of God is within me. Yes, I know. Yes, I know. Light of God. The light of God is within me. I know, I know, I know. The light of God is within me. I know, I know, I know. The light of God is within me. I know, I know, I know. The light of God is within me. Yes, I know. Yes, I know. Power. The power of God is within me.
Yes, it is.
I know, I know, I know. The power of God is within me. I know, I know, I know. The power of God is within me. I know, I know, I know. The power of God is within me. Yes, I know. Yes, I know. Yes, I know. Yes, I know. Yes, I know.
Yes, I know. Good morning. And welcome to Unity of Walnut Creek this morning on a bright, beautiful day in August.
Good morning, good morning.
You going to introduce yourself?
Well, you have to say my name is.
Oh, your name is Diane Hardy. This is my wife, Diane, of course. I know. Stay on the script, Bob. Our musicians this morning are our music directors, Lisa and Tyler. And also we have Joey on bass and Sheldon on drums.
Woo! We are so pleased to welcome back Reverend Sonia Milton as our guest speaker today. She is continuing our series, Igniting the 12 Powers Within. Today's topic is cultivating true power.
True power. Reverend Sonia was ordained in 1991 and has served as senior minister at Unity churches in Knoxville, Tennessee, Napa, and San Francisco. She has also assisted numerous ministries during periods of transition, including our own ministry here at Unity of Walnut Creek.
Sonia is retired from pulpit ministry and enjoys spending time with her husband, Reverend Hal Milton, as well as guest speaking at Unity centers like ours across the Bay Area. Her passion and joy lie in assisting people with coming to themselves in real, authentic, and profound ways. Please join me in welcoming Reverend Sonia to the Unity of Walnut Creek.
Thanks for being here. So let's just take a moment to acknowledge the land our center rests upon. This is Ohlone, Bay Miwok, and Yukat's land. We honor its ancestry and are grateful for those who came before us, and we commit to taking care of these sacred lands.
Let's begin to ground and prepare for worship this morning. Unity is a positive path for spiritual living. Our vision for the world is we envision a spiritually awakened world where all life thrives in conscious oneness.
That's right. And our mission is who we have come here to be. Let's say this together. We are a loving, inclusive community, expanding our divinity in sacred service for all. Thank you. Our core values are love, connection, service, and wisdom.
During this time of welcome, I want to acknowledge folks who might be here for the first time. If you are for the first time here, please feel free to raise your hand. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for coming. And a hearty welcome to everyone who came to join us today. We're so glad to have you with us. Please visit our bookstore across the patio after our service, and you'll receive a welcome packet and a gift. If you need assistance receiving this, please feel free to let our ushers know. We hope you'll choose to stay and meet some of us on the patio after the service.
Connection cards are available in the newcomer welcome packets and in the seat pockets in front of you. These are for everyone. Some of us forgot we had seat packets in front of us because we've been gone so long, but we're back. You may submit a prayer request and our prayer team will pray with you throughout the week. Yes, our prayer chaplains are still on the ball. You may also share feedback or request information. Please place your card in the basket when the offering comes around later. And for those of you viewing online, connection cards are available on the Watch Live page of our website.
In our excitement to be back together, we want to greet one another. Please consider each individual's comfort level when connecting before and after the services. We welcome you to socialize on the patio after the service, and don't forget to visit our bookstore.
Mask must be worn indoor at Unity. Please wear your mask properly over your nose and under your chin. Masking outdoors is optional.
We are thrilled that our campuses have opened for on-site classes and groups. Many of our classes are available in person and in Zoom for those of you who are experiencing Zoom withdrawal.
Yes. So we are grateful for the Unity of Walnut Creek Earth Care team. We didn't even know we had an Earth Care team, but we're glad we do. There's new recycle bin signages and things like that to which we can all help for proper recycling when we're here at the campus. So please feel free to check those out.
And we're also grateful to Lena St. Michael and the Children's Garden team for creating a whimsical garden and a new seating area under the redwoods at the back of our property. This new seating area is a wonderful place to meet after the service or for reflective contemplation during the week. Take a moment to check it out and go visit the new garden seating area after the service.
I was able to do that between services, and it's just a delight back there. Looking for fun? Need to take a break from binge watching your favorite shows? We have an offering. It's time to put down the remote and get on your feet. Beginning Friday, August 13th, join Zula Reeves for an exciting new dance class that will help you to awaken your body and soul through music and movement.
We've enjoyed Zula's classes in the past. Zula's been a dedicated student and teacher of dance for the last 40 years. Let her love and passion inspire you. No partner is required, but leather-soled shoes are helpful. This class is offered for 8 weeks on Fridays at 7 p.m. See our website to register.
Does the idea that you have 12 indwelling spiritual powers intrigue you? Sounds good to me. Go beyond the current series of Sunday talks to more fully activate your 12 powers. Join Reverend Kristen for the Ignite the 12 Powers Within You. The classes begin Thursday, August 19th. This is an in-person class and will run for 7 weeks. You can pre-register by emailing the office at unityofwalnutcreek.org. Or you can sign up after the service on the patio. We'll have someone on the patio today. How nice.
The class will use the book called Divine Audacity by Linda Martella Whitsitt, available in our bookstore, where you will find additional 12 Powers study materials. Spiritual education credits are available for this class through Unity Worldwide Spiritual Institute.
All right, and then Robert, that's me. Oh, I invite you to get your creativity jump-started and paint your own path. Join me on Sunday, August 22nd at 2 o'clock for a creative paint workshop here in the rec room. I will guide you with compassionate discovery of what longs to express itself through you.
You know, this isn't a class just about painting, it's about expression and healing. If you haven't painted in the past, but you're longing to find out how to process what exists in you to be expressed, this is a perfect opportunity to do that. Bob has all the materials and the setup and the facilities available, so you just come. It's a fabulous class. He's been a practitioner of this process for over 25 years.
Yeah.
And look.
I wore purple.
If you have no art experience or wonder how to express without limitations, this is the class for you. Come and play and discover. See the website, Unity of Walnut Creek, to register and sign up.
Right. And you can also click on the Eventbrite link for more information about the class. See our website for a full listing of all of our events in person or online. If you're not receiving our weekly e-news, use the connection card link on the Watch Live page and sign up. A lot of things happening.
This is a vibrant community and so many offerings, so please feel free to take advantage of the ones that call to you.
Yeah.
You may also wish to discuss Sunday messages and more with your community on Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. at the weekly Spiritual Growth Circle. This week, we will meet via Zoom and in person here in the sanctuary.
And as we finish our wonderful announcements and move into meditation, please join me in just taking a breath and just being here in this moment. Thank you, God, for this present moment and affirming our statement of faith together. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, the all-loving goodness of God. Thank you.
We'll begin this section of our worship service with music, followed by Reverend Sonia leading guided meditation and silence, followed by her message about cultivating true power.
In the stillness of this moment, there is peace. There is peace. In the stillness of this moment, there is peace. There is peace. And I rest and trust and breathe and know that in the stillness of this moment there is peace. In the stillness of this moment there is peace. There is peace. In the stillness of this moment, there is peace. There is peace, and I rest and trust and breathe and know that in the stillness of this moment, there is peace. There is peace. There is peace.
With things coming and going, concerns and changes, things appearing and disappearing, breath flowing in and flowing out. In this very moment, there is peace. In this very moment, there is oneness. in this very moment. We are here now. And so if you haven't, I invite you now to gently allow your eyes to close, your body to become still, knowing that the seat beneath you supports you completely. There is nowhere to go and nothing to do. There will be later, there was before, earlier, but right now, God has circled the map with you right here. And so truly we are one in spirit. We are one in faith. We are one in peace. And so take a deep and full breath and let it go with simplicity and ease. And again, filling every nook and cranny of your body. Let that breath, that oxygen, that prana, that life energy fill you. Yes. And let it go. Charles Fillmore, our Unity co-founder, offered us this as a great invocation to remind us of who and what we are. He said, I am now in the presence of pure being and immersed in the Holy Spirit of life, love, and wisdom. I acknowledge thy presence and thy power, O blessed Spirit. In thy divine wisdom now, erase my mortal limitations. And from thy pure substance of love, bring into manifestation my world according to thy perfect law. And so right now, even though we might not know it, we allow this breath and this easy time to soften us, to ease those places that may have hardened over time, those thoughts and feelings that we've clung to. Let them soften. Allow your breath to ease all those places that no longer serve who and what you are right now, this divine child of God, this spirit in expression. This divine peace that you hold so dear. We live and move and have our being in an infinite ocean of intelligence and life and peace and substance. We are a wave within that great ocean in which intelligence and life and peace and substance are projected into this livingness as the people we are. Nothing to do. Who you are is enough. Who you are is full and glorious and divine and enough. Nowhere to go. Nothing to do. And so we reside for a few minutes with this beingness, with this ease, with this relaxation, with this knowing of divinity. We rest in the silence, in the silence, in the silence. and knowing and remembering who and what we are. Perfect expressions of life, love, peace, divine will, divine love. We acknowledge that we are blessed and that we are blessings. And inwardly we gently say, thank you, sweet Spirit. Thank you, God. Thank you, Source. And so it is, and so it will continue to be.
In the stillness of this moment, there is peace. There is peace. In the stillness of this moment, there is peace. There is peace. And I rest and trust and breathe and know that in the stillness of this moment there is peace. There is peace. There is peace. Beautiful song by Peter Mayer. Holy Now. When I was a girl each week, on Sunday we would go to church, pay attention to the priest. He would read the holy word, consecrate the holy bread. Everyone would kneel and bow. Today the only difference is everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. When I was in Sunday school, we would learn about the time Moses split the sea in two. Jesus made the water wine. I remember feeling sad. Miracles don't happen still. But now I can't keep track, 'cause everything's a miracle. Everything's a miracle. Everything's a miracle. Wine from water is not so small, but an even better magic trick is that anything is here at all. So the challenging thing becomes not to look for miracles, but finding where there isn't one. When holy water was rare at best, it barely wet my fingertips. Now it's like I gotta hold my breath, 'cause I'm swimming in a sea of it. It used to be a world half there, heaven's second-rate hand-me-down. Now I walk it with a reverent air, 'cause everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. Everything is is holy now. Read a questioning child's face and say that's not a testament. That'd be very hard to say. See another new morning come and say that's not a sacrament. I tell you that it can't be done. This morning outside I stood, I saw a little red-winged bird shining like a burning bush, singing like a scripture verse. It made me want to bow my head. I remember when church let out, how things have changed since then, 'cause everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. Everything, every little thing, everything is holy now. It used to be a world half there, heaven's second-rate hand-me-down. Now I walk it with a reverent air, 'cause everything is holy now.
A bit of a fumbly start, but hi. Hi, it's so good to be here and see all of you and visit with you who are at home. Good morning, I'm Reverend Sonia Milton, and first I want to tell you to wear sunscreen. All those years living in Florida, working in the Caribbean, or I just like the fashion statement of it, you know. Yeah. When Reverend Kristen invited me to speak this morning, I was very excited because it's nice to be out, isn't it? I've been Zooming messages to Unity centers in the region, and that's been fun for my living room because I can wear my shorts and be barefoot, but this is better. However, when she asked me, I said, sure, and then I thought, oh, good, and this wasn't that long ago. I thought, I'll just dust off one of my talks I've been doing this year and bring it. But no, she threw the wrench in because, you know, very specific subject we're speaking about this morning. So I got to work hard and to find some new places within my own consciousness and mind to be able to speak to you this morning. So thank you again for letting me be here. These 12 powers are just such a fascinating concept. We can take them in a very loose, fun way, and we can also take them in very deeply to be a path for us to our own awakening. So what is true power? I mean, is it being the strongest and the meanest and the biggest kid on the block, or is it the ability to control and be a bully to those weaker than us, having the most money, the most influence, the biggest stick, more guns, more destructive weaponry? We certainly have witnessed a lot of power these last couple of weeks with the athletes in Tokyo at the Olympics. I mean, we have seen power and we've seen strength. But according to Charles Filmer, our Unity co-founder, who, by the way, on the 22nd of this month would have been 147 years old. You see, he believed that he wouldn't die. He thought if he really uses these principles right and these ideas of regeneration, he would regenerate and just keep on living. But fortunately, for a lot of us, these bodies do, wear out and fall away, and whatever's left goes on to other realms of being, right? I mean, at least that's what I believe. There's too much going on here for it to be over. So the work that he's left us anyway has been just wonderful and created this whole unity movement. Well, he said, the power that rules the world is within. And I love that. The power that rules the world is within. And I'll get back to that in a little bit. But today I just want to say again, especially for those new to Unity or new to the 12 Powers, this is a series on the 12 Powers called Igniting the 12 Powers Within that you've been working with. And I understand you'll also have a class, so you'll be able to delve more deeply, use it for your meditation, use it for your well-being. And it's kind of fun. The color for power is purple. That our platform people were able to so beautifully, and I found this, I have this, which has purple in it. And if I knew about the green, I would have dressed a little differently. Several years ago, I spoke here, I think it was around the holidays, and I wore white. And on the video, you couldn't even see, you couldn't really find me, as much of me as there is, you actually, So Charles Fillmore came up with this idea because he was studying the life and teachings of Jesus of Nazareth, and he thought this was a construct that would fit with that, and he thought that these attributes, these powers, can lead to a life of unspeakable joy and glory. Who doesn't want that? And he wrote a book called The 12 Powers of Man, which metaphysically talks of these 12 human attributes, these powers, as they relate to consciousness, evolving consciousness, and acclaiming our divine nature. So this, again, might be new to many of you. And I like to work, I come from a somatic background, working with the body, with the Rolfing work I did, and my yoga practice and all that. So I like to kind of put the 12 together as they relate in the body, and I'm not sure how you're doing it here, but here we are. Is that how you're doing? Oh, great. So I love that faith is right at the top of our heads. It's that center. We have will on the left side, understanding on the right side. We have imagination right in the middle of our head. We have zeal back here, and then today's power, the throat, the power of the word, the power. And of course, love, wisdom, judgment, discernment, order, keeping things in order, strength, elimination, okay, elimination, which is renunciation or release. Oh, I got them all. And then, of course, life, our generative organs. So purple, throat, Philip the disciple, and that means Philip represents the lover of horses, and they say that horse is a power animal. So that's that part. In a book called How to Use Your 12 Gifts from God, the author William Wart writes, the power center in the throat controls all the vibratory energies of the organism to open the door between the formless and the formed, worlds of vibrations pertaining to the expression of sound. Every word that goes forth receives its specific character from the power faculty. And Mr. Fillmore, the mind and body of man, woman, human, have the power of transforming energy from one plane of consciousness to another. And that's the part I like. That's what's really interesting to me. This idea of transforming energy, I think it's everything. It's a choice we make every single moment, consciously, but probably mostly unconsciously. This thought, this idea, this song, this person, this event, this news flash. Does it depress me, upset me, delight me, teach me? Am I developing a sense of impartiality and equanimity? Or am I thrown kind of hither and yon by all that appears outside myself? Who am I really? What am I? Am I just a victim of what comes at me and to me? Or do I have that choice to choose what I'm going to incorporate? Am I constantly, any breeze or hurricane or fire that's about to blow through, what does that do to me in my inner life? So I want us to look at what one of the great master teachers had to tell us about power, especially about true power. And I'm going to read from the Gospel of John. Now, I usually, when I'm going to do something with the Bible, I go, if it's in several of the Gospels, I go to Mark first, because Mark was the first written. And I feel like it's the most accurate, even though it was written, 40, 50 years after the actual death of Jesus. So whether this even happened or not, we don't know. It doesn't even matter. What we do know is there's so much truth in these teachings, and that's what we really hold on to. So this is the story of the feeding of the 5,000. It's in all four Gospels, and I'm going to read from John, which was Charles Fillmore's favorite Gospel. He called it the spiritual metaphysical Gospel. The other three are called the synoptic Gospels because they come from the same root. John came from some other planet. So listen. After this, which was, healing the sick and, all the great work he did. After this, Jesus went to the other side of the Sea of Galilee, also called the Sea of Tiberias. A large crowd kept following him because they saw the signs that he was doing for the sick. Jesus went up the mountain and sat down there with his disciples. He was going, he was usually going up the mountain, up to Jerusalem, up in consciousness. Charles Fillmore would say, if we're looking at it metaphysically. We're really good at that, though, just making stuff metaphysical. Sometimes we enter into that metaphysical malpractice sometimes, but, we can take it back. When he looked up and saw a large crowd coming toward him, Jesus said to Philip, see Philip, he's the guy this week. He said to Philip, "Where are we going to buy bread for these people to eat?" He said this to test him, for he himself knew what he was going to do. Philip answered, 6 months' wages would not buy enough bread for each of them to get just a little. One of his disciples, Andrew, Simon Peter's brother, said to him, "There's a boy here who has 5 barley loaves and," remember, 2 fish. "But what is that among so many people?" Jesus said, "Make the people sit down." Now, there was a great deal of grass in the place, so they sat down. About 5,000 in all. One of the other Gospels said 5,000 plus women and children. And, historically, we know that 5,000 was the number of men in a legion in the military. And at that time, as you know, Israel and the Jewish people were under Roman rule. So that was sort of what they were struggling with. And they were hoping, of course, that Jesus would be this Savior as King David was. Let him be the new Messiah. Let him bring us this new order. Let him, fight and beat them and do all that needs to happen so we can be free, which wasn't the kind of guy he was he? Then Jesus took the loaves, and when he had given thanks, he distributed them to those who were seated. So also the fish, as much as they wanted. When they were satisfied, he told his disciples, "Gather up the fragments left over so that nothing may be lost." So they gathered them up, and from the fragments of the 5 barley loaves left by those who had eaten, they filled 12 baskets. When the people saw the sign that he had done, they began to say, "This is indeed the prophet who is to come into the world." And now listen. Those are my words, not here. When Jesus realized that they were about to come and take him by force to make him king, he withdrew again to the mountain by himself. That is so beautiful to me. That is just so clear to me. And, again, especially I find this in the Old Testament, people are trying to describe an experience that they had. And they didn't know how to do it. So sometimes they would inflate it to just make their point across. And probably that is so with this particular thing. But in this passage, doesn't Jesus seem to be very superhuman? He's able to have the ability to fabricate matter, taking the equivalent of one family's lunch and multiplying it to be enough for an astonishing number of people, at least 5,000 plus women and children. And as the disciple Philip says, the cost of such an endeavor would be astronomical. So not only does every person there have enough to have their fill, there's even leftovers. Pretty astonishing. In this Gospel of John, 7 miracles are performed, and 2 of them are right here, the feeding of the 5,000. And right after this is when Jesus appears to walk on water to his disciples. So at this point in the passage, it must surely mean that Jesus channeled the absolute power of the divine. He could perform miraculous feats of power whenever he wanted to, and that the crowd no doubt took that message after eating, of course, that he was to be worshipped, that he was the Messiah, that the prophet who had come to save them and to save Israel. Well, we thought students are not immune to this interpretation of the miracle. The feats of power are proof of the majesty of Jesus in many ways. Those of us schooled in traditional Christianity, we were taught this, and arguably it's still the same interpretive lens most use, that he just created this great miracle. After all, these images of power and awe litter this passage, this power to inspire and to dazzle, the sheer size of the crowd, the immense need, far surpassing anything, that one person would have, the power of generosity, the power to control a crowd, the power over matter, the power over nature, and later, as I said, the power to walk on water. How can we not be dazzled by this explosion of power in this passage? We may have been so dazzled by the shininess of this, the glittering majesty of the miracles, like we heard the miracles that Lisa sang about, that we missed this response in verse 15. I'll read it again. When Jesus realized that they were about to come and take him by force to make him a king, he withdrew again to the mountain by himself. This moment when he could have claimed the strength of the multitudes, he could have increased the numbers of followers, greater numbers. He laid aside the power offered him and he retreated into solitude. Makes you think a little bit about some of our leaders and our potential leaders and our past leaders, if that's the road or the path that they're taking. He chooses this moment. He allows this moment. The power inherent in what he could have, and he lets it slip by. So the point of this miracle, I believe, is not in the fact of the power of what he did, but instead with how he understood power itself. Throughout the ministry, he constantly demonstrates that contrary to the human understanding and visions of power, the divine way of power brings justice to the oppressed and beauty to creation. It's not a new message. It's the same message that the prophets of the Old Testament, of the Hebrew Bible, taught and spoke and declared. The followers dismiss this mission. They want a prophet. They have a human desire for vengeance. This messianic expectation was that there would be a new king, someone like King David who would come in on a white horse and free them all in the way that had always been. And he was bringing something brand new. He was bringing a new message. He was bringing this idea of where the kingdom of God truly is. The kingdom of God, the kingdom of heaven is within. And if there's one message from these whole Gospels, you see, as I've told you many times, those of you who know, I have a Jewish background, so even saying the word Jesus took me a long time. And that process I had to get to where I am now, where he is this incredible teacher for me, along with others, but what he brought, what he said, what he taught. The crowd forgets that the prophet only brings divine will, has a vision of something wider, reestablishing the harmony that was written to the fabric of creation from the very beginning. Jesus asserts that power, true power, lies in humbly surrendering our individual desires for what is greater and larger. And it's only with that surrender that we can finally understand that we are all interdependent and how our survival depends on the survival of all of creation. Fires, pandemic, demonstrations, divisions. It's quite an interesting time. So by focusing on the glitter and the display of power, we miss this the other miracle of being completely aligned with divine will. When creation is in harmony, all have enough, all are fed, all have exactly what they need. There is even leftovers. And that's our prayer, isn't it? It's our prayer for humanity at this junction of time, of this time of humanity. I mean, those of us of a certain age, we didn't think this would be what we had at this time of our lives. I mean, we fought for justice and we marched and we did and embodied all these things that there's something else going on. And we're not in charge, are we? I remember the first time I heard the blues. I was a teenager. I was in high school. I had a weekend job working in a folk music coffee house as a waitress. It was so exciting. We had Joni Mitchell come through. We had Jimmy Buffett. We had George Carlin. You know, it was just like exciting. These people. In fact, an aside, the owner of the club, it was called the Flick Coffee House in Coral Gables, Florida. He told Joni Mitchell, "Look, honey, nobody wants to hear those songs. Sing something people know." She was in her little heels and a skirt. I mean, she was very formal and very, very lovely person, of course. So I kind of remember that. So the first time I heard the blues was there, and John Lee Hooker was a guest artist. I didn't know who he was. I know he's from this area, but I didn't know that. And I don't remember the song, I don't remember the words, but I remember this feeling, this palpable sense that something sacred was about to happen, that I was going to witness something really important to me. So I didn't like sit, I had this little alcove where I'd sit and watch stuff when I should have been waiting on the tables. But the song began gently and softly, creating this delicate atmosphere of this cool calm that he could do. And I just knew that this gentleness was intentional because it was going to change. But I was commanded to listen, to surrender to the song with my full attention. And I felt everything just relax, just to ease like we do, in our meditation. And then I heard it, this single note that was like a bullwhip crack across the calm. And this note just went through my body. I could feel it all the way to my fingertips. And there was so much power in it, and it was followed by silence. And as the song continued, I was held in the thrall of this calm and tension, silence and sound. I was experiencing this real true master of his craft, demonstrating that power is not always in the flurry of the notes and the music, but in the magic that happens, the miracle when the sound and the silence play off each other in just the right way. And I know our musicians know what I'm talking about. There's something very magical happens when we allow space for these elements to interact. It's very holy. And to witness it is just extraordinarily wonderful and privileged. And I remember that, there was other stuff going on I was upset about because, I was 18 and 17 or whatever, and, what was all the things that I thought were important. But by the time the song ended, this calm, this peace, it was something I hadn't felt before, and I learned something really important that night, that power isn't dominance. True power is knowing that value of silence, of withholding, of creating space. I heard an interview with Terry Gross a couple of years ago, and she was interviewing this man who was some expert on silence. And he said something that I remember, which was, silence is not the absence of sound, it's the absence of noise. Isn't that great? So when you're sitting and you're in your practice and the birds are singing or something's whirling, it's part of it. We include it all. So it's only when we accept that we are not all powerful that we can understand and soften into this mysteries of true power, of divine power. I shared something earlier that I didn't think I was going to talk about, but you give me a microphone and an audience, and there you go. I had an experience a couple of weeks ago I wanted to share, and it's one of those, those nights when you can't sleep? And it's like, it could be a dark night of the soul, it could be I just can't sleep. Well, this I call the light night of the soul. And it was curious to me because I was a little disturbed. There were a couple of relationships that I was concerned about, and, it was stirring up in me a little bit. And all night long, I felt like I was being blessed, worked, healed, because what I saw, and the hours just go by and something like that, it was 6 in the morning when I finally fell asleep for an hour or so. I had this experience and this realization that the reason I was having these challenges was because I brought it to me. I drew it to me out of, and these were old things. This was not something current, but it still was bothering me that it was like an old, a healing challenge, there's all these things we can call it, dysfunction, whatever, a need, a black hole. And I realized that that's not who I am anymore. And I actually, in the process, I didn't feel like I was doing it, but I felt like the wound closed, and that those things could no longer affect me, because all that work we do, all the classes and the sermons and the meditation and sitting through the pandemic, and that it works. It doesn't always seem like it at the time, but then all of a sudden there's an aha. Do you ever get that? It's like, oh, it's come together. And since then, this was like 2 or 3 weeks ago, I've just felt different. Like my lens is cleaner because I'm not affected. Now, I don't want to say that too loudly because, when you ask for, like I've been asking for patience lately, so you know what I'm getting? Lots of opportunities for patience. So just saying, God, just saying, give me a break. I'm doing my work, William March writes, power is the ability to transform energy from one plane to another. Silence, thought, word, and manifestation are stages of power and action. That's like the creative process, isn't it? We get the thought in mind, and then that manifestation. Power is the ability to change thoughts and feelings. It's not for controlling others. So, I got to give you the takeaway, right? Because I can't just keep talking. I mean, I could, but, So for me, it boils down to 4 things. Being as clear as I can with myself and knowing that my word is formative, that what I say makes a difference, that power center in my throat, that what I say makes a difference. And sometimes we just have to suit up. We might not even be there yet, but we act as we're moving into it. Second is gratitude. I mean, what's the first thing he did before he distributed the food in the story? Gave thanks. I bless this. I give thanks to this before it goes out. Thirdly, withdrawing to the mountains. We have mountains around here, but you also have your own room, wherever that is. Wherever we are, God is. Wherever we are, in an instant, we can arrive. I listened to some different meditation teachers, and one says, arrive immediately. And not with that tone. Arrive immediately. Okay, I'm here. I'm here. And you're here. Isn't this cool? We're actually here in person. Withdrawing to the mountain, going apart for a while, time in the silence, recharging, remembering the source of power is within. And lastly, fourthly, humility. Remembering that bond between power and humility, deepening through the discipline of surrendering, I love hearing, actors, famous great actors always say, oh, my kids just think I'm like, they don't watch my movies, they think I'm just, It's like we need that balance. We think we're so hot, we're not. We're just we're all the same boat, we're bozos on the same bus. Do you remember Fireshine Theater, anybody? They were it. They were it. Bozos on the same bus. So, we have an affirmation, something that we can say and remember. So we're not talking out loud, is that right? Just kind of whisper to yourself. I'll say it out loud. We'll do it twice. You just say it to yourself. My source of power is divine power, and I manifest my divine power through my words, thoughts, and creative expression. I came up with that. Pretty cool, huh? I had to do it earlier in the week because I had to send it in. Who knew, you know? Because by like Saturday night, everything changes when you're doing this kind of work. Let me tell you, you know? Sometimes you're up all night because it keeps changing. Could you show that again? Oh, no, I have it here somewhere. Yeah, let's do it again. Thanks. Thank you, Charlie. It's so good to see you. It's good to see everybody. My source of power is divine power, and I manifest my divine power through my words, thoughts, and creative expression. So, shalom, namaste, all is well. It's a pleasure being here, and so be it.
Thank you so much, Sonia. Power is the ability to transform energy from one plane to the other consciously.
Oh, wow. Did I say that?
Our prayer chaplains are available after this service to provide personal prayer support. If you are a prayer chaplain serving today, please stand. Thank you so much for your service to our congregation today. Whether you have a joy or concern on your heart today, praying with our prayer chaplains is a powerful opportunity to have your concerns and intentions raised up in consciousness.
Now let's open our hearts to the practice of giving. I invite you to prepare your gifts as we align with the universal law of circulation. As we give, we shall receive. In truth, there is no lack or limitation. Abundance is our true nature.
For your convenience, there is a variety of ways that you can financially give and support our community. In addition to cash and checks, you can download the Give app. We used to say it's spelled G-Y-V-E, but now we're just saying it's pronounced give. But anyway, it's on your screen.
It comes up on the
download
website,
the app.
yeah.
You can use the debit or credit card envelopes on the envelope in the chair back in front of you. You can also set up automatic payment through your bank. Any or all of these ways are gratefully appreciated by our community. Reminder also that those of you watching us at home can click on the donate button.
Click.
On the Watch Live page of Unity of Walnut Creek.
All right, I invite you to take your tithe or offering in your hand. I know the basket is passing. Let's say our affirmation together. Divine love, one with me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am joy-filled and grateful.
Ready? Okay, this may not be John Lee Hooker, but it is the blues, so I hope you enjoy it. All right, Sheldon, start us off. I'm walking
with the Spirit.
I'm talking
with the Spirit.
Yes, I'm learning
Learning with the Spirit.
I'm turning
With the Spirit.
I'm growing
Growing with the Spirit.
You know it's showing
Growing with the Spirit.
I'm walking with that spirit in front of me. I'm walking
With the Spirit.
I'm talking
with the Spirit.
You know I'm learning
Learning with the Spirit.
Yes, I'm turning
I'm turning to
when I find myself in one of those situations that's leading to some kind of drama or confrontation, I go within and I get plugged in to my friend before it's too late. I put spirit in front of me, I'm gonna make those crooked places straight. Yes, I'm a walking.
I'm walking in spirit.
I'm a talking.
I'm talking to the spirit.
I'm learning.
I'm learning to the spirit.
I am turning.
I'm turning to the spirit.
I'm growing.
I'm growing in the spirit.
Yes, it's showing.
It's showing in the spirit.
I'm walking with that spirit in front of me. When I find myself in one of those situations, I don't know what to do. You know, I ain't got no explanation. I go within and I get plugged in to get that revelation. 10 times out of 9, things work out fine without my participation. Yeah, I'm walking.
I'm walking in the spirit.
Yes, I'm a talking.
I'm walking in the spirit.
I'm learning. I'm a turning. You know I'm growing.
Growing in the spirit.
It is showing. I'm walking with that spirit in front of me. Now listen here. Yes, I'm walking. You know I'm talking. Yes, I'm learning. And I'm a turning. I'm growing. It's showing. Yes, I'm walking with that spirit in front of me. I'm walking with that spirit in front of me. You know I'm walking with that spirit in front of me. You know that spirit is right in front of me. It's true.
Holy cow. Did you guys happen to see the music that he was looking at on the monitor? It was like it was scratched on the back of a napkin. He was making that up out of his head as he goes. People, between Lisa and Tyler, the circuits that are firing when they do that kind of work for us, and the rest of the band, hear, woohoo!
Yeah, super fun.
Yeah,
Got our
that's
groove on
incredible.
there.
Woohoo!
All right.
It's you, babe.
It is? Oh, okay. Our offering is there. Want to come up a little bit here? Keep your distance. I'm just kidding. As we bless this offering, we bless the givers and the gifts that may go forth and multiply and increase the good in our lives and the lives of those that we touch. Let's say our affirmation together to bless this offering. We give thanks for the ever-increasing constant flow of absolute good in our lives now. And so it is. Thank you.
Our children are busy learning more about the 12 powers this morning. Let's bless our children and their teachers together. Say this with me. Children, youth, and teachers, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the divine light within you.
All right, let's all stand up for a prayer of protection. That way we can say it together. All right. So let's say our prayer of protection, followed by the peace song.
The light of God surrounds us. I am light. The love of God enfolds us. I am love.
The power of God protects us. I am power. The presence of God watches over us. I am presence.
Wherever we are, God is, and I am divine.
Right now. So let your light shine,
Have fun and spread joy.